This is the second material of our writing course, which will discuss paragraph and essay development. In many sources or many books, you will find that they present different categories for these types of paragraph and essay development. Here I take some of the references that we use. For example, in this book, Real Writing with Readings, it presents some of paragraph development like this: narration, illustration, description, process analysis, classification, definition, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, and argument. We will see later that some of these categories is also included in genre or text types, such as narration and description. The next one is this book, Writing Academic English by Oshima and Hogue. In this book, the essay development is listed into 4 types: chronological order, cause and effect, comparison and contrast, and argumentative. And then the next, from this book, IELTS Advantage. The types of essay which are discussed here is narration, advantages and disadvantages, problem and solution, and opinion. We see that from these 3 sources there are some similar categories and common ones, such as compare and contrast, cause and effect, and other types of essay development. And now here I will present some of examples of those types. The first one is comparison and contrast paragraph. So here is the paragraph. I mark some of the sentences with different color to indicate different things. For example, here the first sentence is colored in blue, indicating this is the topic sentence of the paragraph. And then the last sentence also printed in blue to indicate that it is the concluding sentence of the paragraph. So it is usually restate the first sentence. If the first sentence is thesis statement and the last sentence is restating the statement above, but of course in different words. Let's read the passage. Grocery stores in wealthy suburbs are much better than the ones in poor inner city neighborhoods. So this is the topic sentence. The topic being talked about is about grocery stores. And then because this is compare and contrast paragraph, there should be something to contrast. What is to contrast or to compare? This is indicated by words in yellow and in green. Let's read the second sentence. Suburban stores are large, bright, and stocked with many varieties of each food. In contrast, inner city stores are often cramped, dark, and limited in choice. So here I mark the conjunction in red. So in contrast, for example, another way is examples of transition signals or conjunction. This is to glue 2 parts, so the sentences will be well connected. Here in the second sentence, second and third sentence, the stores are compared between those located in suburban and those located in inner city stores in terms of the variety of food. So that's the first thing to compare. And then this is exemplified by the next sentence. The cereal section in suburban stores often runs for an entire aisle with hundreds of choices ranging from the sugary types to the organic healthy brands. The inner city stores often stock only the very sugary cereals. Okay, here we see that the contrast between suburban stores and inner city stores is looked from the availability of cereals. And then next, another way in which suburban stores are better is in the quality and freshness of the product. The fruits and vegetables are plentiful and fresh in the typical suburban markets. In inner city neighborhoods, the choices are again limited. Fruits are bruised and vegetables are often limp and soft. Okay, the second aspect to contrast is about the quality and freshness of the product. Okay, of course we don't see this passage as this crediting the rural grocery stores, yeah, but it is to give the example of how to contrast two things. And then there are still other point to contrast, and then we just come up to the final sentence. Grocery stores are just one example of how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This is the concluding sentence of this whole paragraph. And this is the example of comparison and contrast paragraph. Let's move to the next example. This is for classification, or the way how to develop paragraph by classifying things. Let's see from the beginning. Since I have been working as a cashier at Walmart, I have discovered there are several kinds of customers who drive me crazy. So here, this is the topic sentence. This is the main idea of the paragraph, that the writer will mention 3 kinds of customers who drive her or him crazy. So the content of the paragraph, because it is classification, will list what are the 3 kinds of those customers. Here, this is marked by red color, first, second, and the third, to indicate each of the classification. And then words in green to show the classification itself. So first, second, the third is the supporting sentence for this main idea. Each of these supporting sentences further broken down into details like this in the following sentences. For example, this is the first supporting sentence. First are the openly rude ones. What is the explanation of the rude ones? Let's see the details in the following sentences. They frown and make loud, sarcastic comments about how long the line is and how long they have been waiting. They throw their money on the counter and never say hello or acknowledge me as anything but human scum. They are just plain rude. I'm embarrassed myself, but I'm also embarrassed for them. Okay, this is the details to explain more the supporting sentence. The same way is also found in the second and the third classifications. So this topic sentence is broken down or developed into some supporting sentence. There are 3 supporting sentences here, as they are 3 classification. First, second, and the third of this supporting sentence is further explained in details. Now let's go directly to the last sentence. I'm the one just trying to do my job and you are driving me crazy. This is actually the concluding sentence of this paragraph. So a good paragraph or a good piece of writing will have these three elements as it is explained in previously. First is the opening, second is the body, and the last is the concluding part. Or in level of paragraph, it will contain topic sentence, supporting sentences, details, and the last is concluding sentence. And then the next example is cause and effect. This is the example of cause and effect paragraph. Similar to the previous examples, the color indicates the parts of the paragraph. In 2003, 2 robotic rovers landed on Mars began sending back data about the possible existence of water on the red planet. This is the opening or the topic sentence. And the next, this close examination of Mars was the result of new and improved technology. So here we can see the relation of cause and effect. What is the cause here? The cause is indicated by yellow, and then the effect is indicated by green. So close examination of Mars was the effect of or the result of new and improved technology. And then in the following sentences, these key points or key nouns are repeated in the same color. For example, you can see here that new and improved technology in the first sentence, and then in the next one, or in the first mention, and then in the next one, advanced in telecommunication system. It is actually synonymous with the previous one. And then other sentences, it is said new technologies and new improved wheels. So these 4 items refer to the same entity about improved technology. And it is said in different words. While the effect can be seen in green. What is the effect of improved technology? This is scientists on Earth can send command faster and receive data in greater amounts. And then in other sentences, the rovers and their interior computers were able to survive the extreme cold and hot condition in space and on Mars. This is the result of new technologies. And then the last one is that new improved wheels as the cause, resulting on the twin rovers could move around the rocky Martian landscape with ease. So this is the cause and effect. This paragraph is only lack of concluding sentence that will be better to put here after this last sentence. And as usual, the red color is to show conjunction. Okay, the last example in this section is about problem and solution paragraph. What is the problem? Okay, the problem is mentioned here in the beginning. Beginning in the 1600s, astronomers had realized that their telescopes had serious limits. So this is the problem mentioned in the very first sentence. And then what is the solution? Okay, the solution is indicated by green, which is mentioned later after this paragraph explaining the problem first. They had managed to build stronger and better telescopes, but no matter how strong the new telescopes were, they were less than satisfactory. And this is the conclusion of the problems, that no matter how strong the new telescopes were, they were less than satisfactory. Okay, this is the problem. And then it still talk about the problem. The astronomers were able to view objects only when the objects were in view of Earth. At the same time, however, Earth's light and atmosphere made it difficult to see many heavenly objects, thanks to the Hubble telescope. Okay, this is the solution. So half of the paragraph tells about the problem, and then half of the paragraph tells about the solution. And it is also marked by the explicit word of solved here. Okay, this is problem and solution. And then the next one is the types of paragraph and essay development from genre point of view. Okay, this section will talk about genre further. So what is genre? Genre is defined as a culturally specific text type which results from using language, whether it is written or spoken, to accomplish something. So simply we can say that genre is text type. There are lots of genre that I'm sure you already know before. It is description, explanation, response, exposition, report, procedure, recount, narrative, discussion, and news story. But here the explanation will only be limited to 3 genres, as it will be the focus of our lecture in the upcoming weeks, that we will only discuss, and you're going to write these 3 genres: description, explanation, and exposition. So we will focus on these 3 genres. The first one is description. Description is writing that creates a clear and vivid impression of the topic. Description translates your experience of a person, place, or thing into words, often by appealing to the physical senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. So you describe thing, you give detail to that thing by exploring the physical senses, for example, sight, hearing, smell, and so on, or by exploring person, place, or thing into words. So here is the example of description. Granada is the capital city of the province of Granada, in the autonomous community of Andalusia, Spain. Here is the topic sentence, or the main idea of the paragraphs. Here is Granada that is going to describe here. So anything in this essay, in these paragraphs, will only talk about Granada and all of its features, such as location. Granada is located at the foot of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and so on. And then here it is explained about the national census of Granada. In the 2005 national census, the population of the city of Granada proper was this number. Okay, this paragraph explaining about the national census of Granada. It's still describing this city. Okay, and then the second one is explanation. The next session, you're going to write explanation genre or explanation text by firstly reading on explanation text. So what is explanation? Explanations are concerned with explaining how process happen. To this end, they imply sequences of cause and effects. Process X occurs, so process Y results. In turns, causes process Z, and so on. So this is explanation. And let's see the example. This is the explanation about the mulga tree. And here is the title. How can plant life grow so well in such dry, hot, and infertile places? The mulga tree likes long drafts. If it is too wet, mulga trees will not grow. So this is the opening, and then it will contain, the rest of the paragraph will contain the explanation or the process of how it is growing. The shape of the mulga tree is the key to its surviving dry times. The branches of the mulga fan out from the bottom like a huge half moon. So first, it talks about how it survives during the dry times. And then the branching leaves and stem catch the rain and it trickles down to the soil. This traps more rainfall than if the tree grew straight up. The mulga catches more water than a gum tree, and so on. So all the sentences here are describing process of how this tree survives. Until the end of the paragraph, also the mulga tree makes its own food by dropping thousands of leaves. So this is the process how this kind of tree survives in drought. Okay, this is for explanation genre or text type. And then the next is exposition. Expositions are persuasive text types that argue a case for or against a particular point of view. They are divided into analytical and hortatory exposition. So this is the definition of exposition text types, that here when you're writing exposition text, you will argue a case for or against, whether you are for or agree or against or disagree with the issue you are talking about. And here is the example. Many people would agree that books are better than television. Books provide more knowledge and information than TV, as it interacts with the reader better than TV, and as well as exposing the respondent to ideas, ways of life, and foreign worlds beyond their imagination. So here is the statement of the explanation. And in the following paragraphs, it will of course explain or giving details to your argument that books are better than television. For example, the second paragraph, since the beginning of time, books were used to capture and preserve religion, art, literature, and science, which was open to people's imaginations and interactive ideas. So this is the strength of books, since the writer is in the position of agreeing with this idea that books are better than television. TV, on the other hand, is controlled by a set of creative directors who control the fact and can alter into works of fiction. As a result, viewers are deceived. Okay, this is the argument that show the writer's position that books are better than television. Okay, the same way can be found in the next paragraph. The interaction that TV provides is passive interaction, while books depend on the reader's imagination and creativity and so on. Okay, and then in the fourth paragraph, it is also to give argument about how books better than TV. Even though TV is valued by some people for its entertainment, it can also deceive the responder and prevent them from discovering new worlds or new fascinating ideas. How about books? Books, such as novels, allow the responder to enter a whole new world. This is the positive thing of books, and this is the negative argument about TV. And then the last paragraph contains conclusion. In conclusion, there would be no doubt that books are better than TV. It is again restating the first paragraph, which state about the thesis statement or topic sentences of the whole passage here. Okay, those are the examples of various text types as well as various types of how paragraph and essays development, and here are the references that you can open. That's all for today's lesson. See you again next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.